Beautiful cutscenes, varied and interesting worlds, lots of collectibles, and tons of secrets to discover. Balan Wonderworld may not be a perfect game, but its platforming, crazy costumes, and charm make this game a whole lot of fun. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to quickly break down the overall game, some of the high points, some of the low points that a lot of other people are talking about, and in the end, let you know why, although flawed in certain aspects, I think Balan Wonderworld is still an incredible game. Alright, let's get into it. Balan Wonderworld is a brand new 3D action platformer brought to us by the Balan Company from Square Enix. This company was founded by Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima, who were both integral to bringing us the classic Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Balan Wonderworld tells the story of a musical theater we visit whenever there is an imbalance in our lives between negative and positive emotions. The main protagonists, Leo and Emma, both find themselves brought to Wonderworld by Balan after finding this imbalance in their own lives. He then tasks them with helping restore the balance to 12 other people's hearts who have been corrupted by Lance, Balan's negative counterpart. Being a game based around a musical theater, as you would expect, the music design in this game is phenomenal. Most worlds you visit have a different magical soundtrack, and after saving each resident's heart, you're presented with a musical song and dance number. These songs are extremely catchy and really help liven up the gameplay and the different worlds. While not all tracks are an immediate hit, and some are repeated throughout your playthrough, I never found myself tuning them out and would find myself humming along each time I was backtracking looking for more collectibles I had missed. The 12 different worlds of Balan Wonderworld are bright and colorful and offer a lot of variety. Each world is a reflection of the person whose heart you are trying to rescue. This includes jumping from tree to tree in a massive forest, a city frozen over in ice, a topsy-turvy world straight out of an abstract painting, to a carnival with Ferris wheels and glowing train tracks, and even a haunted mansion full of ghosts and poison clouds. All of these worlds look great on the PS5, and while some objects do have simple textures if viewed up close, the variety made it really fun to explore each world. It ran well for me, and I didn't have any frame drops or issues, although I've heard that on the Switch that may not be the case. The costumes and power-ups themselves look great and change the way Leo and Emma look and feel. Probably the most standout piece graphically throughout the game are the cutscenes or cinematics. Each one is beautifully animated and they are a delight to watch. While most are short and leave a lot to interpretation, the characters look amazing and really help sell the emotions of the stages that you're playing. At its heart, Balan Wonderworld is a 3D action platformer with some light puzzle solving. Spread across 12 worlds, each consisting of 2 acts and a boss fight, plus some extra stages after you beat the game. You'll spend your time exploring various different settings, looking for collectibles like Balan statues which are used to unlock more levels, multicolored drops which can be fed to your companions the Tims to make them grow and change abilities, eggs to hatch more Tims, and the biggest feature of the game, all 80 different costumes. Leo and Emma, while not wearing any costume, can only move and jump. Each stage has a set number of costumes that you can find, and using a key that's usually not too far and not too hidden away from the costume itself, you can unlock it and its ability. Each of the 80 costumes have a different ability or power-up for Leo or Emma to use, and the stages are designed around using these different power-ups and abilities to traverse and collect all the items. You can hold up to 3 costumes at one time, and they also act like your health bar. In the style of many other platformers, if you are hit, fall off a cliff, or are damaged in any way while wearing a costume, you lose that power-up and must find it again. You can collect multiple copies of each costume, and any extras that are not in your 3 currently equipped are sent to a change room that you can access at checkpoints throughout each level. These change rooms also allow you to bring costumes found in other stages back to previous worlds, allowing you to fully find and collect everything when replaying the levels again. At the end of each stage is a piece of a heart that is unlocked after completing both Act 1 and 2, then you'll be presented with a boss battle to clear the negativity from the corrupted inhabitant. These boss battles play out using many of the tropes of other games in this style. They are all larger than life, each take 3 hits to defeat, and their attack patterns change as you progress through the battle. Just like in the other stages, each boss fight has costumes you can unlock with keys that spawn around the stage, and using these powers you can defeat the boss. To make boss fights more interesting and replayable, each boss can also grant up to 3 Balan statues for damaging them in different ways. This can range from things like reflecting back a tornado attack using a costume that shoots tornadoes as well, to slowing down the boss to be able to shoot a small hitbox that would normally be spinning too fast, or timing a jump into falling water that lets you get close enough to land on the boss's head for that final blow. The core idea of replayability, exploration, and experimentation is the very essence of Balan Wonderworld, and honestly, I'm not sure when that became such a bad thing. Having so many different costumes available to you, each with their own subtle differences and quirks, really lets you think and approach each situation slightly differently. Not all 80 costumes have drastically different powers, and there are some that have very minor differences from others, but for the most part, they each do feel unique and again leave lots of room for player choice. A lot of reviews I've seen are slamming the game for making players backtrack and replay levels, and how it's such a terrible thing. A lot of Metroidvania style games require you to traverse from one side of a map to another just to get a specific power-up that will let you travel all the way back to open a previously impassable door. This is how I view replaying levels in Balan Wonderworld. None of the stages are ridiculously long. I think I may have clocked in over 30 minutes on one or two acts while searching like crazy in every corner of the stage, but once you know where you're going or what to expect, you can breeze through the majority of the stages quickly. But going back to these stages with more costumes available really lets you start to pull it all together. Some stages are at night where you can use the dusk butterfly costume to fly high into the sky to reach far places that you normally wouldn't have been able to. In other stages, you'll find ways of making it up really high and using costumes like the floaty flower, which will let you slowly glide across the stage, reaching areas that something like the soaring sheep just couldn't reach before. This sense of discovery and experimentation really took me back, and I found I had more fun exploring the stages again, this time piecing together all the bits of the puzzle. Throughout my playthrough, I did find a few costumes that became staples in my inventory that I would always bring with me into new stages, thus allowing me to get to out of reach places. I'm looking at you, Frost Fairy. But I really did enjoy finding different areas where I needed to use a specific set of 3 costume combinations to reach a statue. An example of this could be using one to reach a platform way up high, then using a costume with floating abilities that would let me glide to a far off platform, and then having to break an iron stone block to finally let me reach the prize. While the game is designed to be simple, it surprisingly has a lot of depth for anyone looking to find it. The game itself does not do a good job of explaining about its mechanics, and there are very minimal tutorials. While this at times can be frustrating as you don't always know how to achieve a certain goal, it's also very rewarding to take the time to experiment and find the answer for yourself. I do believe that some of the mechanics could have been explained better, or at all really. Most people who will play, I'm sure, won't ever realize that there's actually a hard difficulty or a challenge mode that you can only activate by defeating many enemies without being hit. This then modifies the game to spawn more enemies who are more aggressive and limits costumes from respawning once you have picked them up. Plus, if you beat the stages in this mode, you'll be rewarded with a red stamp rather than a gold stamp at the end, proving just how tough you are. There are also other secrets like a very powerful costume on the Isle of Tims that you can unlock by breeding specific Tims together and collecting multicolored rainbow drops and giving them to the statue on the island. Getting this costume may require patience, some luck, and experimentation, but is a blast once you get it, and again, feels really rewarding for figuring it out. The game is by no means perfect, and I won't deny that. The controls are very simple, with every face button doing the exact same action, with the exception of using the shoulder buttons to change costumes. This is most frustrating in the menus when you have to scroll to a specific back button just to return to the previous menu rather than hit the circle button. Yes, the simplicity also means that to use each costume's ability, you press the one action button and it will trigger the ability. Some costumes therefore will not be able to jump as there is no dedicated jump button. While this can be very jarring at first and take some time to get used to, the stages are designed in such a way that you shouldn't get stuck anywhere with a costume that can't jump, even if it means having to backtrack a small bit to pick up a costume with the ability to jump, allowing you to progress through a platforming challenge ahead. All this does mean that some of the stage design is simpler than it could have been, and I do feel the game would have benefited greatly from always having a jump button, but it also does make you think carefully about what costumes to bring with you as you progress through each level, and again, experiment to find the ones that you need. You very easily will see that the level designs do get more difficult and vertical the further you play into the game, with the last few levels flipping and twisting the worlds all around, giving some really fun, frustrating, and challenging platforming puzzles. My main point of frustration with the game was the QuickTime event games called the Balan Bouts. In each stage you can find a golden hat, or multiple later on, to trigger these QuickTime event minigames. In it, you see Balan flying through the sky, either blowing up chunks of negativity or battling Lance, the main antagonist. The music is catchy and the sequences are well animated, and in the first few stages when there were very few of these, they were actually almost fun. But they are very slow paced and the timing does not feel accurate. Each one also has a Balan statue hidden away that can only be unlocked by getting perfect on each button pressed throughout. This in itself wouldn't be such an issue, except for the fact that if you do miss or make a mistake, which I did a lot until I realized I had to press the button slightly before my brain thought I should, you can't immediately replay the bout for another chance at the statue. You have to finish that stage, beat the boss of the world to reset the level, and then make your way back through the level to the bout's location and then try it again. In the later stages, there are 3 Balan bouts per act, each taking roughly 2 minutes to do, and making a mistake, having to leave and do all that to come back, to try again, and then fail again is very frustrating. Balan bouts aside, there were some other questionable choices in the development of the game, like why they chose to put all the cinematics for each world sandwiched around the boss battle. You get an intro cinematic that plays right before the boss, showing who was corrupted and why, followed by a dance number and the resolution to this person's problem after beating the boss. I really feel those intro videos should have been played when starting each world rather than at the boss fight, but it's a very minor thing to pick at. Perhaps a lot of the less than glowing reviews can be chalked up to unrealistic expectations, and I can count myself lucky as I missed out on playing many of the Sonic games as well as Knights, so I didn't have the same lofty expectations that this would be a spiritual successor to any of those franchises. I really did enjoy my time playing Balan Wonderworld. The variety, creativity, and experimentation had me hooked throughout the whole playthrough. The character designs and fun graphics are welcoming and really do deserve more praise than it has been getting. Plus, the hidden mechanics, boss battles, and beautiful cutscenes had me hooked enough to replay the entire game on the challenge mode just to see how things would change, and if there was any hidden content for doing it. I really do believe that once the game goes on sale, more people will give it a try and realize how great of a game it really is. And who knows, maybe the narrative around it in a few months' time will be completely different, but in my opinion, I would rate this game as a solid 7.5 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching. I'm really curious to know what you thought of the game. Did you pass on it after trying the demo? Did you play through the whole thing and really connect with one of the 12 world inhabitants' stories? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks again, and as always, happy gaming.